some time in the Volkswagen Golf GTI, this 2019 model year. This car is based on the new Golf, which most of you would know as the Mark 7.5. Volkswagen likes to call it the new Golf. This revision has been around since November 2016 from its launch in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So yep, it has been around for quite a while now. So what does this new facelift brings to the Golf and this Golf GTI? Well, you get new LED headlights up front, LED tail lights too, with the nice directional yellow indicators like the first seen in Volkswagen Group's Audi cars. Now they've trickled on to Volkswagen, and some slight bumper change and all. Other than that, nothing much aside from a larger infotainment screen and a multifunction digital instrument cluster now, which looks very nice. Everything is big, modern, and very 2019. Aside from that, it's all business as usual in terms of GTI or in terms of Golf. This Golf 7 actually looks good in terms, it doesn't look like the previous Mark 5 and Mark 6 models, which I actually don't quite like, due to the fact that it looks so much like a delivery van rather than something bulbous blob where it's just so tall looking and all, that I did not quite like the look. Here it's kind of nice. It has that nice sleek hatchback shape, more darty looking, nice angular lines to it. Makes everything look more sportier. In fact, with that lower roof line, this Golf actually looks nice and decent and looks sporting, with the GTI lip gloss, lipstick on the front grills, the nice touches and all, red here and there, red stitching on the seats. If it's night, you can see a nice character lines that glow in the dark, mood lighting they call it. Totally everything is basically black, touches of red in this GTI. Exterior wise, you get the digital emblems, you get the nice, as I said, the nice grille, bit of touches here and there. You get nice big wheels and all. It looks its part, and it actually goes. And this car was first brought into Malaysia end of last year. Yeah, it took a while for Volkswagen to bring it into Malaysia. This is fully imported, by the way. It's gonna cost you about 240,000 ringgit for a 2.0 liter turbocharged hatchback. If you want this car, that's the price you have to pay anyway. The Volkswagen Golf, was designed from the outset to actually drive very well. It's very refined to an extent. The ride is still nuggety. You can still feel there are bumps here, this one. It's very nuggety. It's firm because it's hot hatch firm actually, but it's still comfortable. It's not bone jarringly firm, teeth knocking out your teeth kind of firm, but it's just nice. It's just the right amount of comfort there, the right amount of refinement. In terms of road noise, wind noise, it's slightly above class average. Being mostly German, they tend to do wind noise suppression quite well. Even tire noise is quite subdued. It's still there, but it's quite subdued for something which runs on very large, over 225 series tires. In all of that, it actually drives very well. If you were to go just to buy groceries, pick up your kids from school, buy some furniture from IKEA, use the folding seats, which is what a hatchback is for sometimes. It's very practical. You drive like a normal car, even with this 6-speed dual clutch transmission, so call it DSG. It's just so nice to just use it to waft along any of the city roads, or in fact even traffic jams. It seems to be quite tolerant of stop and go traffic. According to what we know, the people at Volkswagen have indeed put some effort into the car. It's not been, the gearbox might still be a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, but did have some tweaks and all to make it a bit more robust and reliable. The car is also very nice inside. Still typically Volkswagen Group kind of interior. Everything is laid out nicely. I like the interior in terms of ease of use. Even I think this new steering wheel has slightly larger buttons and switch gear, slightly larger than the pre-facelift model, which means that it's actually more clearer and more legible for people like me, older farts. And this digital instrument cluster is very nice. Everything is so clear. All the information I want is here, and I can't complain on that at all. Now, seats are super nice. Most likely they are based or built or designed by Recaros, going by the shape. It's a very traditional Recaro style shape. So you get the best seats in this hatchback. You get a nice steering wheel, flat bottom, but somehow it's not as totally flat bottom as most flat bottom steering wheels, which is a very good thing. I really hate suddenly when you do the arm wrestling action, the arm twisting and all, suddenly then the flat butt comes into play. So this is just slightly flat. It's comfortable, it has air conditioning, it has all the safety features. In terms of not super active safety features, you do get post-collision assist, which is basically they lock the brakes after an accident. There's also the cameras and all, giving you a reverse camera. There's also all the park sensors and all at low speed. It does most of the things you want. Well, of course, being fully imported, the importers need to juggle between price and specs. In terms of active safety, it does have certain things, but what it has been omitted also. In this car, we do not get the brake assist in terms of mitigating collisions at low speeds. We don't have blind spot monitors. It's a car which you would drive and have to keep an eye out for yourself, which I don't mind, because basically you're supposed to drive a car like that. You're not supposed to just simply leave it be. So I'm fine with that. Since this is a GTI, it's a driver's car, you should be driving it with your eyes open, enjoying every moment of your time. The only thing that you should seriously talk about Golf GTI is its performance, actually. How it drives, how it handles. There's nothing else to say. It's practical, definitely it's practical. But the most important thing is how it drives. It clothes all of this performance in a very practical 5-door hatchback, 3-door sometimes. But you can just enjoy the drive. Oh, when it goes, it really goes. So easy to drive, so tractable, the power, and the brakes are good. Yeah, just tested the brakes. Now we're going to use a bit more of the power. Gears shift so fast, shifts down so fast also. Oh, marvelous. So in terms of power, yeah, 350 Newton meters of torque and 227 horsepower slash 230 PS actually is sufficient to make you smile. So nice. Aside from the power, it's also that exhaust note. How it pop, how it farts, especially just when you're changing the gear, when it changes gears. Pop. It gives you all the nice fart kind of sounds from the exhaust. All the nice crackle and pop that it adds to the oral pleasure what you can hear. It's just not just the engine making all the noise, but the exhaust sounding all pop here, pop there. The engine feels like it has big lungs. It's like a huge air pump breathing in all the air when it needs to. Tractable, the engine, it's so tractable. Just give it a bit of and it goes down the road and you're probably at where you want to be. It's practical. It's still within grasp of most people. It's still in the 200,000 and under 250,000 ringgit. So if you can afford it, this is the driver's car for you. Of course, the best is in this kind of roads where it twists and turns, and then the tail really helps you out sometimes. It's so nice. You're whacking along the B road and all. Give you the brake. Turn in. That tail is very, very, very mobile. One thing, it's so mobile. It helps you out. It helps you turn the car into a corner. It's still got ample grip and all. Brakes are good. You tap the thing, bring the weight to transfer to the front a bit so that you add more grip up front, so that you propel to the next corner and all. It's very sweet. This car loves corners. It wants to change direction. It's not a car which is. It has a super planted rear end. It's got a mobile rear end. It has a very planted front end, which is actually the best for driving. You want the front to actually stick to the ground, and a tail that actually helps you doing the corners. It's magical in the sense that the engineers have made a front-wheel drive car perform very well mid-corner. It also resists understeer very well, which is a very important thing. Most likely is due to the fact that the tail is extremely helpful. To sum it up, this is a driver's car. It's not the driver's car. It could be the driver's hatchback. It is one that doesn't need additional wings. It is one that does not need go faster stripes. It does not look loud. It's all subtle on the outside, but when you push the car, it's all so much fun. Aside from that, it also has all these nice luxuries and nice touches, and it just looks so modern with these big screens and all, and nice digital instrument cluster. Nice infotainment unit, very 2019 definitely. Of course, the downside is 240,000 ringgit worth. Here in Malaysia, 240,000 is quite a lot of money. Of course, you factor in the warranty and all, then it's still quite a good package in terms of ownership value. Wish it was locally assembled, then the price could be maybe 20,000 ringgit lower and all. All in all, it's good. This car is good. Ride comfort is good. Refinement is good. Practicality is very good. Performance is good. I mean, this is a car that does everything very well. I don't think I need to say much about each and individual detail about this car, as it's been around for quite a while. It's just me revisiting this car. I had driven this car during the media drive from here, Kuala Lumpur to Johor. So thoroughly enjoyed the experience. We took it all over, even on nice B roads like to Kuala Kelawang, which is a fantastic hillside road. So the car handled extremely well, drove extremely well. I experienced very little fatigue after driving the thing over long distances. So it's a very good car. I mean, I have to say that I'm not saying that I'm just waxing, good poetic lyrical stuff about this car, like a love story or anything like that, but the car really works. I do have certain things which I don't like about this car. Not many. One is the gearbox. In comfort mode or in normal mode is just a tad too comfortable or too slow. It might work for your fuel economy and all, but somehow I would love it if it was just a little bit more responsive in normal mode. Somewhere in between sport and normal would be nice. Other than the entry price, so over the Mark 7, the new digital displays all bring it up a notch to 2019. In terms of what's not in 2019 is also the lack of USB port, one in front and then one 12 volt socket. So there's only like 2 places where you can slot in your USB to charge your phone or your tablet or whatever. So if it were a complaint, more USB slots would be nice. You would think that a car that has been around since 2013 in most markets would feel old, but this car doesn't. It just feels so current, so contemporary. One other question that some of you may be asking is that whether the Golf GTI is already past its buy date. No. It's, as I said, it's still surprisingly good. It still drives superbly well. I don't really find anything lacking, especially if you're gunning in sports mode. Yeah, in normal mode maybe it feels a bit underwhelmed, but that's all down to maybe tuning. So how do we compare this car against other cars, like say something from Mercedes-Benz or Audi these days? Well, most of the technology is inside in an Audi is basically now inside Volkswagen. So what's the difference? In fact, rather than buying an Audi, just buy this. In terms of say BMW, I think the 1 Series, you're talking about hatchback, the 1 Series still looks a bit odd, and of course you're talking about driving experience. It does offer some pleasure too. Somehow the translation of rear-wheel drive hatchback in terms of styling isn't as nice to look at. Well, there's of course the Type R. It's beautiful, it's fast, but it was styled by an 8-year-old, and it's super out of this world in terms of styling. If you're an extrovert, by all means go ahead. Oh, of course, we have the Megane RS also. Now that's a good competitor for this car. Now it's basically in the latest 2018-2019 Megane RS has been made so much better. It now comes with a dual clutch transmission. Definitely makes things a bit more interesting for those who do not like to drive manuals. So something like this DSG. So that's a good choice. But if you're talking about whether this car is outdated compared against cars like those, no, it's not. it still offers a lot. As I said, the interior is very 2019, so there's no fault in it in choosing a Volkswagen GTI or Golf GTI in 2019. I wouldn't mind having one. So it is still very relevant in 2019. Damn, this car makes you feel good still. I'm proud of you, old boy. That's all I have to say about this car. Do subscribe to Motoring Malaysia for reviews like this. Comment on the video. I like to hear your comments, whether it's good or bad. If you like the video, click the like button once. If you don't like the video, click the dislike button twice. Okay, till later.